Police here in the 200 block of Northeast Gretna investigating a stabbing that was reported around 10 a.m. on Monday. We're told the stabbing victim, a male, had been taken to St. Francis here in Topeka for emergency medical treatment. That person was being treated at the hospital as of 10:30 a.m. Just spoke with Topeka Police Lieutenant Chris Heaven a few minutes ago, and said the individual was talking, was conscious, and we don't know yet exactly the extent of injuries that this individual sustained. But again, police here are outside a residence at 226 Northeast Gretna in the Oakland area of Northeast Topeka after a person here was reported to be stabbed, we believe at this location, although police here at the scene haven't completely confirmed that this is indeed where it happened. But officers here are outside the residence, and again, we're hearing that more officers may be on the way over here before long. We don't have a whole lot more to tell you. Again, an individual was stabbed this morning here in the Oakland area of Northeast Topeka, taken by private vehicle to St. Francis here in Topeka. The individual was said to have been treated and was talking to medical personnel there at the scene. We don't know of any arrests or any suspect information either at this point. I'll give you a little view of the neighborhood here as you look down the street. We're just a little bit to the south of Seward Avenue here, maybe about a block and a half. And taking a look here to the south, so maybe give you a little idea of the neighborhood here. It's a one-way street that goes north. Excuse me, here in the Oakland area of Northeast Topeka. Someone says, where is this? Again, we are at the 200 block of Northeast Gretna here in Oakland in Northeast Topeka. It's a narrow one-way street that goes north. And again, we're about maybe 2 blocks to the south of Seward Avenue here to tell you where we're at, just a little bit to the east of the Santa Fe Railroad shops. I'll get a little different vantage point here momentarily before we say goodbye, and remember to check for updates later on cjonline.com as we get more information. Someone says, is that the house he got stabbed in? We don't know. Police here haven't said this is where the police activity is, and there are people out back looking for evidence, that appears, and this is where the detectives here are at this particular point in time. There was some indication that there might have been some evidence out here in front of the house, but at this point we don't really have any information to go on. No one here has given us any information or details. We do look for more information here in the next hour or so, we're hoping. We'll just stay here live for a few minutes. Not a whole lot of activity going on. Again, I see some folks in the back here looking through some areas in the backyard here on the southeast side of the residence here. And again, this residence here where the activity seems to be centered is 226 Northeast Gretna. And again, we're in the city's Oakland area, just about a block and a half to the south of Gretna and Seward Avenue. And if you look down the street, you might see a church down there that's fairly familiar. It's been there for a long time. And this is where we are right now. Victim of this stabbing was taken by private vehicle to the University of Kansas Health System, St. Francis campus, the emergency department there in 6th and Horn in Topeka, where he was being treated in the emergency department as of about 10 minutes ago. The injuries, we don't know the extent of it, but we are told he was talking and he was able to communicate with those that were treating him, so we're hoping that the injuries weren't life-threatening, but we haven't heard any exact details on the nature of the injuries or how severe they might have been. But again, the individual was taken by private vehicle to the hospital, showed up there, walked into the emergency department about 10:20 a.m. here on Monday. Someone says, so we don't know the extent of his injuries. No, we don't have that information. I've asked a couple of different times, about 20 minutes apart, about 10:30, and then again about maybe 11 o'clock, and hadn't heard any information on that at this point. We'll hope to hear something before too long. Don't know the situation, don't know the circumstances here that led to this incident this morning. Anne-Marie just joined us. Anne-Marie Munoz, what happened? We have a report of a stabbing here in the Oakland area of northeast Topeka. This is the 200 block of northeast Grattan. The address here, 226 northeast Grattan. And again, this all occurring around 10 o'clock this morning. The individual who was stabbed was taken by private vehicle to St. Francis here in Topeka, where he's being treated in the emergency department as of, about 10-15 minutes ago. Last time I spoke with the police supervisor, he was still being treated in the emergency department. No indication that these were life-threatening injuries, but we have no information really to go on at this point. So we're going to await information on the extent of injuries and hoping that we'll have some more information to give you here before too long. I'm going to kind of move to a little different vantage point. If you'll hold on here with me and bear with me, I'm going to kind of scoot around here.
Okay, my work's done. You can 13.
Just taking one other look here. The house here is on the south, or I should say on the east side of the block here. And again, one bit of information I got was that the victim was found in the yard. Don't have any confirmation on that. And again, don't see a whole lot of evidence out here. Someone says, is that same house had an injury a couple of weeks ago? I couldn't answer that question. I'm not familiar with that, but we are at 226 Northeast Grattan here, again, where stabbing has been reported to have occurred this morning. The individual who was stabbed, a man, was taken by private vehicle to St. Francis, where he's being treated even right now, from what we're told. And again, there's not a whole lot of other information to go on here. Police are just kind of doing some initial parts of their investigation. So we'll kind of go back to where we were, and then we will sign off from here. And as we said, you can follow this story as it develops on cjonline.com throughout the day on Monday. So at first that might have been a police car coming down the street, but it was a private vehicle. So again, we will sign off here. We are at the scene of where a stabbing was reported to have occurred around the 10 o'clock hour on Monday morning here at 226 Northeast Grattan. Individual was taken to St. Francis by private vehicle, where that person is being treated at this time. We don't have any indication that these injuries were life-threatening, but we don't have a whole lot of details to go on, other than we believe that the stabbing had occurred outside, or the victim was outside at the time of the stabbing. The individual then goes by private vehicle to St. Francis and is able to talk to those who are treating him there. Beyond that, we don't have too many details. And police here are just in the initial phases, just now getting here to investigate this incident.
Just pass in front of that van. Yeah. Thank you.
Someone walking by the street there, they asked them to go around the side here so they don't get into the crime scene area. There's been no crime scene take place, but there's not a lot of foot traffic around here at this hour at least. So again, we'll sign off from the Oakland area of northeast Topeka, 226 Northeast Grattan, where police are investigating a report of a stabbing that occurred here at 10 o'clock this morning. The victim ended up at St. Francis by private vehicle. He's being treated there now, and we'll have more information available to you as it becomes available. Check cjonline.com for more details. Reporting from Oakland, this is Phil Anderson for CJOnline.com.